Hey everybody, welcome to the BBQ Talks Show. My name's Ryan.
And my name's Charley from Pickles Barbecue.
We're here today to have a little chat about Thanksgiving and the up and coming Christmas event as well. It's just a little chit chat, very loose. We've had a bit of time off, so just to break back and get into the swing of things again. I'm feeling much better now, and I'm really glad to be back doing this because last few weeks have been a little bit sort of out of sorts. Really, I've been missed a little bit, but equally you can't really do a podcast without being able to talk. So I'm fully back now and ready to go. So how you been, Charlie?
Doing good. I'm sorry about the flu you've been having over there.
It's just it's one of them things, mate. To be honest, it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Season. It definitely is the season. Otherwise, good here.
Yeah, that's good. I just think it's because everybody's
and we're getting into the holiday season. The weather's cooled down a little bit, and leaves are falling off. Trees are changing colors.
It is a beautiful time of the year. I'm guessing it must look quite similar where you are to where it is where I am now, because we're quite rural. We've got loads of trees changing colour. It's all sort of coming down. You've got a little bit of frost on the ground in the morning, and it's quite nice. It's cold and windy and not sunny, but it's pretty nice to look at.
It is nice to look at. The one thing I don't like is you do have shorter days, which means sunset at I think 20 till 5 tonight. Wow. Which means getting outside and barbecuing in the dark becomes once again the challenge.
It's the norm. We're hardcore barbecue veterans. You need to get yourself a little shelter or something. Get under that, and
I would love one. Yeah, a barbecue shack, a barbecue shanty, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I would love one of those. Fully lit up with a disco ball. Count me in.
A disco. Yeah, that sounds like good fun to me, man.
You got to put some bling in there, right?
Pickles disco barbecue. Get down. Boom.
Exactly.
That'd be fantastic. So, first we better have a full word about our show supporters. The Rusty Barbecue can bring you 10% off all of their products. Head over to our website and check them out. We've also got a 15% discount from Meter. That's a worldwide offer, so head over to our website as well. And also Glow Baltic Charcoal. They also supply a 10% discount. So again, head over to the website, take advantage of the discount codes. Obviously, winter is coming, so stock up and everything you need to cook them turkeys and whatever else you're going to cook over a rotisserie if it's a Meter product. And yeah, it'd be all good fun. So let's start to talk about all of these good all of these good Thanksgiving recipes and bits and bobs and ideas and channels, and we'll take it from there. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Oh God!
I'm in the business of destroying my room at the moment.
Yeah, I can see what's going on with your cows, man. They're gone. They were, and now they're on the move.
They've gone haywire. I don't know what to tell you.
You see what I've done? I said they're on the move.
They're on the move.
Oh dear. So who we got in the chat there? We got Ken. We've got Lep. Who else we got in there? A few good people. All good people. Thanks for joining in and supporting. If you want to jump on and tell us a little bit about what you got planned for your Thanksgiving cooks, once we get into the show a little bit, jump in and tell us all about it. I can't wait to hear.
And I'll put the link in the chat. Has a history lesson for Ryan about the history of Thanksgiving and what we do Thanksgiving here. We've got Thanksgiving in the U.S. as well as Canada. Canada is a month before us. I don't know what they do, and I don't know much about the whole Canadian experience, but they do it in October.
All right, I didn't know that. I didn't even know Canada done Thanksgiving, to be honest. I just thought it was an American thing. So there you go. You learn something new every day. Every day's a school day.
It is one of the one of the favorite eating holidays in the U.S. for sure. We've got essentially July 4th and I think Thanksgiving are the basic big eating holidays.
All right. So typically, then, obviously, the big thing's turkey for Thanksgiving. We know that much in the UK. So, if like, I don't know if there is a typical sort of Thanksgiving dinner, but obviously turkey and what else would come into that?
Well, so I mean, I'll tell you, turkey is a big one for a lot of people. I love turkey. Some people don't like it, or some people are tired of it by that point because they've had enough turkey. So other people will do ham, lasagna, and then
Lasagna.
Lasagna is a Italian American tradition. Pork. So I've been to Filipino Thanksgiving where we get an entire pig rather, whole roasted pig. So, but turkey's kind of the standard. It's the Rockwell picture of American standard Thanksgiving dinner. So we have turkey, and the sides for me is what makes the whole thing worthwhile. So we have giblet gravy, or at least I like giblet gravy.
Yeah.
You gotta have gravy of some sort, and I prefer giblet gravy. So that's how I make mine. We have dressing or stuffing, whatever you want to call it, which is a side dish, which is some sort of bread, whether it be cornbread or some other type of bread, and mixed in with a variety of different things. I do a wild mushroom leek dressing, and cornbread dressing is really big. Dressing with oysters, and oyster dressing is really big too.
Oysters, that's a bit posh.
It is a bit posh. Seafood prices actually come down around the holidays as well. So once again, back to kind of an Italian American thing. Seafood is very big for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Kent just said you missed the two biggest USA eating holidays, the Daytona 500 and the Super Bowl.
That is true. Yeah, we do have Super Bowl's big for having parties, eating snacks. I wouldn't say you cook you're not gonna sit around and cook an entire roast or something for the Super Bowl or for Daytona. Basically, it's just a whole fistful of nachos and eating snacks all day long and appetizers. Good stuff though. Don't get me wrong. And then as far as other side dishes go, green beans are pretty typical. You can either do like straightforward green beans, or you can do a green bean casserole and throw on some French fried onion rings. And
so
a lot of people do with cream of mushroom soup or a cream of celery soup. Big other sides are sweet potato pies. Mashed potatoes, obviously.
Yeah.
Corn, some sort of jello dish that your aunt brings that nobody needs and nobody likes. And you've got a bunch of other things. I mean, you'll show up at anyone's like big Thanksgiving and they'll have like everyone will bring a side.
So do you have, is a trifle a thing over there? Would you have a trifle? No, because that's a Christmassy thing over here. I don't know if it sort of carries over.
Would you have which?
A trifle? Do you know what a trifle is? It's sort of like jelly with custard and a sort of a biscuit base. It generally sort of has sherry soaked into it or some sort of boozy liqueur.
You might.
Fruit as well.
Yeah, you might. Desserts go wild. So you could do something like that. It's not typical, but certainly you could.
So Tim has asked, how long do you brine a turkey if you brine it at all? I know you're big on that sort of thing, aren't you? So
yeah, I do like brining my turkey for sure. Either brine it, inject it, or do both. But I do like brining. and so I'll brine for like overnight and around about 24 hours.
Wow. Do you sort of like add all of the crazy stuff in there, like oranges and, or is it
Yeah,
just like a salt brine, really? Just a
it's a salt brine with salt brine with stock. I either use chicken stock or vegetable stock, but salt brine, peppercorns, sometimes cinnamon sticks, apples, oranges, onion, garlic.
Yeah.
And then just leave it overnight. And usually here it's cold enough that I can actually leave it in the garage. This year it's quite warm, so I'm not quite sure about that one. Otherwise, you can throw it into a bag and throw it into the cooler.
I thought you were going to say leave it outside. It'd be, I imagine it'd be like a frozen turkey again, just like a
yeah.
Chip the ice off.
Yeah, you do need to add ice to it, and then like boil all the ingredients before you add it to your brine. But yeah, it's typically what I end up doing. And then you can inject it as well. Inject it with chicken stock. You can inject it with butter. That's a big one. Plenty of things you can do. You can do a Cajun injection.
Yeah. Well, for strangely enough, as I sort of circle back to while we're on the turkey subject, I saw a YouTube video, and it was all over Instagram as well. Mark Williams from Swine Life Barbecue. He spatchcocked the chicken, skinned it, and then rubbed it down with like his barbecue rubs and stuff, and like cooked it on a Traeger. But that looked fantastic. I've never ever seen a skinless turkey cooked whole before. It looked totally different to anything you'd ever normally see. It wasn't a typical sort of cook, but it looked really juicy. It looked really nice. But it's just something I've not seen before. It looked quite cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It depends. And normally I'll get 2 turkeys around Thanksgiving. I'll do one straightforward. I love doing oven roasted turkey, and then I'll save the other one and do either spatchcock or I'll do rotisserie style turkey. And anytime you do rotisserie style bird, any sort of thing, it is delicious.
Yeah, I love a rotisserie. It's super moist, super easy. It's like minimum work, maximum payoff.
Turns out fantastic nonstop every time.
You got to go some to ruin a rotisserie cook, you know. You got to be.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you gotta have that freezer space, and this year I don't have any freezer space to do it, so I don't know if I'm gonna end up buying 2. But the prices finally fell to about 59 cents a pound for the local store-bought turkey.
Oh, okay. Do you get like the great big ones, or you just go for like because again, what I've read, I'll be totally honest, I've only ever barbecued one turkey and it didn't go great, to be honest. I over smoked it. It come out pretty rubbish. Luckily, it wasn't for Christmas. Luckily, it was just for like a Boxing Day thing. I was messing around in the garden with a barbecue, but yeah, it came out over smoked. It wasn't good, a bit dry. But then at the time I didn't know about brining, so now maybe it come out a bit better.
Yeah, if your turkey's dry, you're doing it wrong. So you and I either need to inject or brine, because it generally will come out dry if you don't end up doing that. I grew up having dry turkeys for many years, and funny thing is they include a temperature gauge inside the turkey. Do not use that thing. It's a little plastic insert. Do not use that thing.
Oh, is that where it's sort of like looks like a golf puck? It sort of it pops up. Is that the thing you got?
Yeah, it's a little pop-up plastic temperature gauge. It doesn't. It's useless. Don't do that. Take your temps on your turkey. Make sure you're cooking the breast too. They say turkey can actually go to 155 is the latest standard, and then you'll get some carryover after that. But don't cook the turkey breast to based on that or anything much beyond 165. Now your wings and your legs and your dark meat can take 175, 165, 175.
God, you see Dutch is cooking 34 more turkeys.
It is. Yeah, a lot of people end up cooking turkeys for the community around, and certainly Kent from Daddy Dutch Barbecue is one who cooks up a whole ton of birds around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I suppose he's into, he loves the church and all that sort of stuff. So I suppose he's helping out a lot of people and all that. He's a good guy,
Yeah,
and he's
exactly right. And I mean, turkeys are still popular around. We get the same things around Thanksgiving and Christmas anymore. So you'll find turkeys and hams both at Thanksgiving and Christmas. You'll find cheaper prices on seafood and certain vegetables as well. So we've got asparagus is a big side, and it's not exactly asparagus season, but I was down at the store the other day and I saw normal green asparagus on sale, as well as purple asparagus and white asparagus. So I'll probably end up picking up some of that this time.
We get purple asparagus. I've not seen white though. We don't get that over here.
White asparagus. I'm not sure how they make purple asparagus. I think it's just the genetics of the asparagus plant. But white asparagus is really easy to make. Basically, what they do is they take normal asparagus and they put a box over it, or they put a covering over it, so it doesn't the chloroform doesn't have a chance to grow, and it doesn't turn green.
It's kind of like force growing it. Then they do a similar thing with rhubarb in this country. It's called blind. I think it's called blind growing rhubarb. They literally. Hold on, let me dial that back. Do you know what a rhubarb plant is?
Oh yeah.
Rhubarb
pie is a big thing, and I actually had growing up. My mom, we moved into a house, and she had tons of rhubarb, and was making rhubarb pies, and then giving a whole ton away.
Yeah, well, once you get that in your garden, that's it. They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, they grew like weeds for sure.
Yeah, they do. But it is nice. It's a good sort of pudding to make. Rhubarb and apple crumble is very, very delicious with custard. Not that it's really a Christmas or Thanksgiving. I suppose autumn, it's that season now, isn't it, for rhubarb and stuff like that. So it's quite good. But what I was actually going to say was, so the sort of like the American Thanksgiving and then the UK Christmas is sort of kind of overlapping a fair bit now.
I mean, the two seasons do come very close together, which is why. And I mean, we have Halloween, which bleeds straight into Thanksgiving, bleeds straight into Christmas. So they're becoming a little confused at this point.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, we have Christmas decorations going up before Halloween starts, and
wow.
So you name it.
One of our neighbours has literally put their lights up today, so we've got Christmas lights opposite our house now, and it's like,
right.
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose it's got a few weeks till December, but I don't mind it. I quite like all Christmas lights and that. I think it looks quite great. Yeah, I think it's great. It looks pretty cool. What about Brussels sprouts over there? Because that's a big divider of opinion in the UK. Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. No, we have Brussels sprouts. I grew up on those too, and they're actually big around Thanksgiving, Christmas. Absolutely, I love them.
Well, what we used to do for, again, Christmas time, it was sort of like you cut them up, fry them up with bacon and walnuts. Have you tried that?
Yeah, you fry them up. Yeah. So I think a lot of people don't like them because they were raised having them boiled, and if you boil them, you get kind of a strange flavor going on, a strange kind of off flavor that some people don't like. I don't mind it too much, but it's much better roasted. With bacon, butter, garlic, walnuts sound perfect.
Well, walnuts are good. My nan used to do that for us all the time. It was like little bits of bacon and walnuts crushed up, and then you mix it in with the.
That's right. And then
nice.
The other thing we get is which is big for some people, is cranberry sauce. So cranberry sauce is a really big one around Thanksgiving. Cranberry sauce and cranberry jellos and cranberry all sorts of different things. Not quite sure why that is and what that's all about. Funny thing is, I was in France one year when I was going to school there, and we had chefs, so we had a kitchen, and they cooked for all the students and everything else, and they ended up putting they didn't know what to do with the cranberry sauce. They were confused by the whole Thanksgiving idea and ended up throwing the cranberry sauce in the gravy. It was not good.
No, it's hard. Excuse me. I would have thought that would have sounded quite good. We use red currant.
See something happening with that, but no, it was not good.
Yeah, we use red currant sauce with our turkeys, and we do get cranberry sauce now, but it's always been sort of like traditionally red currant, which is, I suppose, it's not a million miles away from cranberry sauce. It's a little bit more tart. It's not as sweet, if that makes sense. So you get a little bit of a bitter back note rather than sweeter one with the meat, which is quite a good thing. But yeah, I quite enjoy that. But on the sides as well. So we had a little bit of a chat off air about the marshmallow and sweet potato thing.
Like, so marshmallows do pop up in certain desserts around Christmas time. So, Jello once again, we get like a Jello or some sort of cranberry thing with marshmallows on it. We got a sweet potato pie with marshmallow, or a pumpkin pie, which is also huge, with marshmallows as well.
Yeah.
Come to find out the history of marshmallows. So they were actually developed. They were actually, I don't know, developed, but actually came over to the US from the UK.
Is it a UK thing? I thought it would have been more of a German type of thing, if I'm honest.
No,
marshmallows.
It's a UK thing. So it started out, can't remember the actual initial reason behind that, but yeah, that came through the UK and then landed into, I think, New York and Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, areas like that, and then all of a sudden became an American thing as well. And they do pop up certainly around Thanksgiving.
That, to be honest, that really surprises me that marshmallows are a UK thing. Not that I'm saying it's not. It's just a case of like the European, like the continental way of cooking was always sort of like, certainly through history, English food. I wouldn't say it's been plain, but I'd certainly say it's not as flamboyant as what your German and what you tell. Well, I wouldn't say, yeah, Germans are spicy and sort of like sugary based sort of stuff. It's all sweet and very sweet and savory over there. And your French are very flamboyant, and you've got your Italians, simple, few ingredients, but fantastic food. But the UK have always been sort of like the roast beef and all of that sort of stuff. You'd think generally that I'm surprised that I'm sure it must have come from the continent at some point and just sneaked over to America via England. I'm sure it must have done. I've got to Google that, but I'm sure it's European.
I'm blaming you for the whole marshmallow thing. Somebody else can look it up and tell me I'm wrong, but I believe if I'm correct. That's kind of one part and parcel of the whole marshmallow story.
Well, we'd take it. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind marshmallows. They're all right toasted over a fire, but
yeah, I'm surprised. I love my marshmallows toasted over fire or put into a s'more. So we got graham crackers and chocolate and marshmallows. Delicious.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So as we're going around now, it's sort of like the whole history of the Thanksgiving thing. So it's sort of like a family holiday. We've got all of your family and friends coming around with a dish and offering it up and enjoying each other's company. How long is it? A weekend thing or a day thing, or will people sort of like wander in and out? Because sort of like
It's well, I mean, it's a weekend thing for the most part. So it's a huge travel weekend for us. Kind of close to Christmas as far as the travel goes, I think. So a lot of people will actually take the entire weekend, fly in, fly out. You know, there's a movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is kind of the classic, maybe only Thanksgiving movie I can think of. But yeah, people fly in. My youngest son is off school all next week, so he'll be off all next week, and then Thanksgiving happens on that fourth Thursday in November, I believe. So it's not a set date holiday. But yeah, most people take the weekend. My oldest is actually flying in from college, so he'll come join us as well.
Oh wow, that'd be cool. Everyone back in one place.
In theory, it's all about family, and then everyone complains about sitting at the Thanksgiving table with or tables, depending. You may have an adults table, a kids table, and like some other tables, and all the family gets together in theory, and has conflicts, and people yell at each other and drink too much, and eat a whole ton and fall asleep.
Sounds like a good recliners. Good sort of deal. Eat, drink, and fall asleep.
Because
probably repeat.
Turkey is supposed to have L-tryptophan in it, which is a good way to put you to kind of sleep.
Yeah, I've not even heard of that. L-tryptophan. So it's like a chemical release as you eat it, and then you're like, boom.
Yeah, that's a theory. Otherwise, like, people overstuff themselves too. So there is that whole thing, and then you got to deal with the Thanksgiving leftovers, and there's a ton of ways to make them as well.
Yeah. So, no, that could be an interesting thing. So, to do a comparison, so for the Christmas thing, do you have after the day after Christmas in the UK, it's called Boxing Day. And I don't know why it's called Boxing Day. It just is.
Right. I've heard that, and I still don't quite understand it.
I don't understand why it's called Boxing Day either, if I'm totally honest. It's Boxing Day. So what generally happens is, or what we have done is, it's basically a party. So you'd have people come round, you'd eat all of your cold meats with pickles and like sauces, and you could put them in sandwiches. Some people make curries, but it's basically using up all of your Christmas food.
That's a brilliant idea.
Which is fantastic. Like, we always used to, because we're originally we're sort of from around London and Windsor area. Some of my family are sort of very London, so we make a thing called bubble and squeak, which is basically cabbage, potato. So that'd be leftover roasted potatoes, in the oven. So you'd cook them with goose fat and whatever. Next day they'd be cold, so you'd mash it all up together, put it in a big frying pan, and cook the heck out of it, basically, until it's black. Well, I say black. Yeah, it's sort of charred, I suppose, would be a good way of putting it. So you know when it's done because it bubbles and it squeaks. Right? That's why it's called bubble and squeak, because the gas the steam.
Yeah, I've heard of bubble squeak. I couldn't remember what was in it.
It's just literally potato and cabbage or Brussels sprouts or whatever leftover veg you have. You mix it all up together, mash it up, put it in a pan, and fry the heck out of it, basically. And it's so not like, I really enjoy it. It's like my favorite thing. But then that's because food is sort of memories. You link what you eat in certain times, and it sort of takes you back to where you were when you was a kid. And we always used to have parties and loads of bubble and squeak. I didn't have loads of beer, but there's always loads of beer and whiskey flying around, pickles and cheese, and it's like a big cold cut of meat. It's just like an open house. Everyone was coming in and had a big party.
Sounds fantastic. It's a very smart way to use up leftovers. I mean, if I don't end up with leftover gravy and stuffing and turkey, I am very sad.
Yeah, it's a cool. Like, I often enjoy the leftovers more than the actual meal. I know that sounds really
No,
bad.
leftovers are fantastic.
Mm.
I remember like I mean, well, I'll tell you like one thing. I remember going out for like kind of a midnight snack or a 11 p.m. snack on Thanksgiving Day, because usually we'll have dinner early, so it'll be 2, 3, 4, somewhere around there. So you get hungry in the night. Go to make myself a little bit extra, and unfortunately the person who had packed up the food left the gravy in a glass jar, and the refrigerator was so packed that when I opened it up, that gravy just fell out and broke all over the floor, and I nearly cried.
Sounds
It's
like
been
an
a very
Indiana
long
Jones
time on
booby
that.
trap. It's
Yeah, but I mean,
switch.
leftovers, like as far as leftovers go, I mean, you got everything from like turkey sandwiches with like throwing everything in. I got
Mm.
like, you want to talk starch overload? You can throw in mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, turkey. Some people throw in the cranberry sauce
Mm-hmm.
and then slam it between two pieces of bread, thick bread.
Mm.
Eat that. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Turkey tetrazzini, turkey, like any sort of pasta. Turkey
Mm-hmm.
pot pie. Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Turkey pot pie. So what is that? With potatoes sort of paste
Yeah, you got
pie, or?
potatoes, peas, carrots, celery, onions,
Mm.
and throw it in with some throw it in some quick gravy. I'm definitely making that this year, and then a puff pastry, and good to go.
Oh, that sounds good. Well, so is it like a white sort of creamy gravy to go with a turkey, I should imagine, or
Yeah,
is it?
yeah, that's right.
Mm. Wow, yeah, that does sound
So
good.
yeah, like use like chicken broth for the gravy. I'd use turkey broth, but I end up using all my turkey broth in my gravy,
Mhm.
my actual gravy. Although you
But
could use like dibble gravy, I never have enough,
mm.
and I make a lot, a lot.
That's all good stuff, though. The stuff, well, most people in like over here, you'll get the giblets and you'll get all of the. So you normally get, if you get a turkey, it's all in a bag, innit? And people normally just toss it and don't eat it.
Oh, so
But if
delicious.
yeah, if you take the time and put it in a pan and actually sort of cook it down and get the goodness out of it, it's so good. All you got to do is put an onion and a couple of carrots in it, and you get yourself a really good stock to make a gravy from. It's so easy.
Oh, it's so delicious.
Mm. I'm
Yeah,
surprised people
like
don't
the
do it.
turkey neck and everything else. I remember
Mm.
I remember every Thanksgiving sitting by the stove as my mom made stuff. And she'd start doing that stuff, and she'd cut me off a little tiny piece of the turkey heart, and pull me out like a couple of bits out of turkey neck. I
Mm.
loved it. Ate it
It's
up.
all, it's all good stuff. It's just people are just a little bit squeamish nowadays. Just because it doesn't look like necessarily what you think food should look like doesn't mean it doesn't taste good. It does taste good. You just need to take a little bit of extra care to make it sing, if that makes sense, to make it sound.
Oh, absolutely true.
Yeah. I suppose sing is probably the good explanation. You got to take a little
Absolutely
bit of
true.
time, give it a bit of care, and it gives you that little bit more back.
Oh, absolutely true. I could convince anyone. Like, I could make a dish that would convince anyone that beef tongue and beef heart are really good.
Mm. I like the idea of your pie thing. That sounds really nice.
It's delicious. It is delicious. I end up doing that like most years. Most years I'll end up doing the same thing for the most part. Well, I'll make a turkey noodle soup, turkey tetrazzini, turkey pot pie, which is one of my favorites. Sometimes some like turkey like hand pies.
Yeah. I think that pot that
Delicious.
mm,
I don't know what the expenses of you get sales around Christmas, I guess. I mean, we get sales like all the way essentially from Thanksgiving to Christmas for all that stuff.
you can. I'll tell you what. In the UK, people go shopping on Christmas Eve, and a lot of people buy a lot of their Christmas food on Christmas Eve because it goes to, after a certain time, it goes to a sale. So you can buy a turkey, which was in the morning, it was like 30, 40 pounds. You can get it for £10. Like, just because who wants to buy a turkey on Christmas Day or the day? Well, you can't because the shops are shut. So who wants to buy a turkey on Boxing Day?
Yeah,
it's just they just got to get rid of it. So a lot of people do that. Me personally, I'm always busy Christmas or Christmas Eve, or we don't. But I'd much rather get a frozen one, stick it in the freezer, get it out. I think people go mad for fresh turkeys. I've had a fresh turkey and paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah, I
thought the frozen one was a bit better. If I'm not
well. Yeah. I mean, I have as well. And then you like, I mean, it's the same thing as buying choice versus, or choice versus prime versus Wagyu. You can easily make something good out of a choice steak or a choice brisket. You can make it better than prime.
How you doing, Steve? You go. Welcome along. Happy birthday to your father-in-law.
Depends on the skills of the chef to actually get the meat to actually work with them, and do a good job on
that. Yeah, I totally 100% with you on that one, mate.
Hey, so don't get me wrong, like Wagyu turkey is really good.
Well, I've not tried it yet, but it's coming.
You got to get the Wagyu A5 turkey from Japan.
Yeah, for sure. And the Wagyu chicken as well. I should imagine it's quite
paired up with your Wagyu asparagus and your Wagyu stuffing.
It'd be a Wagyu Christmas. With your Wagyu sausages and your Wagyu bacon. But yeah. I still not tried it. In fact, I'm going out to a restaurant tomorrow and it's on the menu, and I don't know whether I want to try it or not because it's super expensive. Like, we don't go out a lot, but we're going out. It's be the first time we're going out with friends for, I don't know, since before COVID. So we've sort of pushed the boat out a little bit and got a really good restaurant booked up. And it's on the menu, but I don't really want to pull a trigger on £120 bit of meat. You know what I mean? It's going to be a small bit of meat, and it's not probably going to taste that good because it's going to be full of fat.
No, I mean, I'll put it this way: like some of the best meals I've had are some very inexpensive meals. I mean, I've had things all the way from $400 or $500 meals down to $4 or $5. And it depends on the people you're hanging out with, how good the food is, and everything else. But mostly the people we're hanging out with, and is the food good? Top level pho, Vietnamese beef soup, fantastic. If I was to compare that with like eating a Wagyu brisket, both were fantastic experiences.
We've got well, this is the thing. They've got octopus on the menu, right? Tomorrow, I got it on as a main. I really do like octopus, and I've not had the courage. I've not. Well, I'll be honest. I've not tried to cook it, but I've seen it can be a bit of a faff. It doesn't take much to ruin an octopus because you got to know what you're doing. You either braise it slowly and it's good, or you cook it really fast. And if you overcook it, it's just like a car tire. So
yeah, so exactly right. So like So octopus can be you either cook it slow and braise it, or cook it quick. There's kind of no in between. The one thing about octopus you do want to do is tenderize it. Now you can either tenderize it by putting it in in kind of an acid solution, like lemon-based, vinegar-based solution, which somewhat helps to break down the tissue a little bit. But also, like freezing also does the same thing. So if you take an octopus and you throw it in a freezer, that will actually help break down the tissue, so it will make it more tender.
So what that would expand I suppose, the cell structure burst.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the ice crystals form, and they, anytime you put something in a freezer, unless you're flash freezing it, and even flash freezing is going to have some effect, but less so. But what it does is basically make ice crystals, and the ice crystals tear apart the proteins slightly.
Cheers, Steve. He said, invite 7 friends around, we can all have a leg.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with an octopus leg. I'm 100% down with that.
That's true. Anyway, so enough of my night out tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to, I must admit. But back onto the Christmas track. Steve said he's got a turkey video coming out on Thursday in a in his wood-fired oven. No, sorry, Wednesday. It's out Wednesday in his wood-fired oven. If you want to come on and tell everyone about it, Steve, please do feel free. I'll put a link in the chat in a minute. We just sort of work our way around to that. Anyone else got any Christmas tips or turkey chat? Please do join in. I'll put it in now.
We didn't even manage to get to Christmas. So Christmas here, since Thanksgiving is turkey, Christmas is usually a variety of different things. So you can either go the seafood route.
Seafood.
Yeah, so that's big around Christmas. You can go the rib roast route. That's also huge around here. Some people do turkeys, or a combination thereof, and then ham is also very big. So there's quite a few things you can do there. Oh, I forgot to mention candied yams and candied carrots are kind of big around the holidays, either Thanksgiving or Christmas. And those can either be served with marshmallows occasionally or not.
What? So, oh, excuse me.
I don't know. I don't know these choices or decisions.
So candy jam, how, like, my understanding is I'm not even sure what a yam is. What is a yam? Let's start with what is a yam, and how do you candy a yam, and what is it?
Well, I can't remember the exact difference, but there are sweet potatoes and there are yams. Candied yam generally is actually a sweet potato. Sweet potatoes have an orange flesh and a very sweet taste to them. You can make sweet potato fries are really good. That's kind of my favorite use of them. You can make a sweet potato pie. I'm not a ginormous fan of that. And yams, I can't remember the actual difference, but there are differences. Yams you can also become kind of whitish yellow or a yellowish tint, or you can get purple yams as well. Those are pretty typical.
All right.
But the taste between the two is relatively similar, but they are different. And I can't remember which country each one comes from, what region, whatever else.
Is a yam from Africa? Is that an African type of?
I believe so. I believe that sounds about right. But I think yams are cultivated all around the world right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just that I've heard of the yam, but I've never actually seen or eaten one. Whereas a sweet potato, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that, and I think they taste good.
As Jules said, they're both in the tuber family, and they're both like really related to each other. They kind of use them interchangeably, though there are differences.
All right.
And I can't remember what the differences are.
Right. I've not even seen them in Mondale in the UK, so I don't know if it's a thing or not, but I've not seen them. So, and I do have a bit of a mooch around the supermarkets looking for new, different stuff. So, you know, not that a yam is particularly new, but it's certainly new to me.
I mean, you'll see yams and sweet potatoes, and I think even the people who market them don't necessarily know the difference between the two. So you'll see them like kind of cross-sold as one and the other.
Mm-hmm. No, we got Dutch just popped in.
Yeah, but yams are different. Cuisine as well. So you'll find they have like a purple yam cake, little tiny cakes.
Mm-hmm. We're getting some feedback. Deal.
Yeah, Dutchie, I already gave my turkey leftover ideas. You can make turkey. That's right, Jim. You can make turkey chili, turkey pot pie. You can make turkey tetrazzini. You can make turkey any sort of pasta. You can make turkey avocado jalapeno soup. You can make take chicken and replace it with turkey and near anything. You can do the same thing with turkey. Heck, you can shred up some turkey and if it's smoked turkey or something like that, you can make turkey mac and cheese or turkey jalapeno poppers.
Turkey poppers.
You make turkey hot and sour Chinese soup. Turkey white chili. So most people make it with chicken. I do, but you can also make turkey white chili. Works fine too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's circle back around to the turkey cooking. So UK typical English roast dinner now, it seems to be turkey. Dutch, can you talk now?
Is that better?
Yes, 100%.
There we go.
I had an earbud in, and that picks up everything. And I got a freezer sitting over here running. And I'm like, oh, that's what they're picking up. So
it picks up the fillings in your teeth is what it picks up, which pick up radio signals.
There you go, Charlie.
As Lucille Ball once said.
I'm just popping in for a quick minute. I am still at work. I just wanted to say, Ryan, I'm glad you're back. Good to see you're feeling better, bud.
Thank you. It's good to be back, and it's always nice to talk to you, Kent. I want to get you on to interview you. We got to sort something out, maybe over the holidays or something like that. But if you've got a bit of time off coming up and you're not busy, but it'd be good to get you on and have a proper interview with you in a chat.
I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk.
Because I've been chasing you for a while. You're quite elusive.
Yeah, well, I'm as you guys know, I'm cooking a bunch of turkey for the church. Tomorrow I'll finish up the final 34. Be 72 or 74 total. I forget. It's been a weird fall. I've been so busy running around doing this, doing that. We'll have to do it after the first of the year, Ryan.
Yeah.
I do have one more barbecue cook-off coming up the week before Christmas, December 19th.
Wow.
It's a hardcore cook-off. It will be in the snow, and it'll be damn cold, but it's a Toys for Tots fundraiser. So it's for a good thing.
Oh, 100%.
Charlie, I'm glad to see you haven't gotten any worse looking.
I try. I practice on that quite a bit.
So I just want to come in and say hi, guys. Tell you, Ryan, it's glad you're feeling better. Charlie, you just keep being Charlie, and hey, I'll be listening while I'm working.
If you have time for a quick question,
sure, shoot.
Okay. How do you end up cooking up that many turkeys? Like, what's your kind of like guidelines for cooking up the turkeys, and then what's your guidelines for, since you're making them ahead of time, what's your guidelines for storing those turkeys?
Okay, well, what I have what's called a Holstein grill. It's a 3-foot by 6-foot footprint. It's a tow behind grill, and it also has a top shelf. So I can do about 24 birds in that at a time. And I'm taking them, they're all in the turkey bags, and then in aluminum pans. We're just using that as a big oven is what we're doing. And then I have 2 commercial ovens and a residential oven inside the church. Excuse me. I'll put the remaining birds in there, and I'll take them to 165 in the breast. Then we pull them. We put them in the big aluminum hotel pans. The ones I did last Saturday went into the freezer, which they will get pulled out tomorrow to start thawing for Thursday. And there's 3 cups of stock in each one, and each pan has roughly 15 pounds of cold turkey in it. And then the ones that I cook tomorrow, they'll just go in the fridge for Thursday, and then they'll all get loaded back on that same big grill and get reheated for service on Thursday.
Oh, cool. Okay, that makes sense.
Along with mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, corn, cranberry salad, a wide variety of beverages and desserts.
Of course, like that's the difference. Awesome. You see, you've got like a catering type competition head on your shoulders. I was thinking, how on earth is he going to fit all of them turkeys in a freezer?
Oh yeah. Well, we have. Do you remember the big milk coolers like they used to have in grade school, Charlie? They're about 4 feet deep, 6 feet wide, and about 4 feet tall.
Yep.
We have 2 of those at the church, 3 of those at the church. We have 7 different freezers at the church and 2 other fridges. So,
you got that covered then.
2019, we served 730 meals on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So that's what we're looking at. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that for
yeah.
So, well, my guy is back, so I have to run. I'm going to put this back in and listen to you all the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, sir. It's always lovely speaking to you, Kent. So,
you too, guys.
You too, and look after yourself, mate.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk
for sure.
All right, later, guys.
Bye.
Ciao. No, I mean, Ken mentions a really good point. So one of the things that does happen around Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially in holidays, is that there is a lot of charity cooking. So there's a lot of cooking for the community and making sure kind of making sure your community is taken care of, and everyone's got a meal on the holidays, or as many people as they can. So I mean that is a huge thing as well, because there are certain people who can't afford to cook their own, to buy a turkey, cook it up, to buy ham, cook it up, and so that is a big thing. especially around here about Christmas and Thanksgiving. And it's Christmas. Cool to have people like who volunteered cooking at his church, and a lot of people do that at church and community groups and that sort of thing.
Well, it's a massive thing over in the UK as well. There's the charity that springs to my mind is Shelter in the UK, or certainly in London. It's based in a building called Centrepoint. And what they do over the Christmas period, they open the doors up and get a load of homeless people in from London. They open the doors up, they feed them for a month, so that every day they get a bed, they get food, they get given clothes for the year. They're basically, if they can get a place in there, they'll be set up for the year with clothes and sleeping bags and all sorts of new material like that. If they've got any sort of health problems, they get checked out as well. It's a fantastic charity, and in fact, I'm going to put the links in a link in the show notes. So if you want to go and make a donation and you're listening, please do go and help them out. Because I'm sure they could use the funds at the moment for because I'm sure that there's definitely a lot of people in need of a lot of help at the moment. And this time of year, or as we're getting into this time of year, will, it just sort of puts the pointy end on what people need, because it's cold and it's miserable, and I'm sure nobody like to be out on the streets this time of year. So go help them out. The links will be in the show note. Give them some money if you can afford it. If not, give them something to use. Send them a sleeping bag, or wander down there and give them whatever you can. I always give them a couple of quid. I don't have a lot of money, but if you can spare a couple, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Off of the soapbox, back into the barbecue show.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. People come to do that around the holidays, but which is great. But people need that help all year long too. Mm-hmm. So back in a second.
Okay,
carry on.
So yeah, so I was saying, Centrepoint is a big homeless charity. They get a lot of people in. Go check them out and support them. So, from a UK perspective, I'm sure Charley will pick me up on this when he comes back. What we normally do. So, for me, we generally cook a goose. Okay, that sounds a little bit old-fashioned, but I like goose because it's a really easy meat to cook. It remains very, very tender. You can't dry it out because it's got so much fat in it. So it basically bastes itself as it's going along. So our typical Christmas would be, I wake up in the morning. The kids are a bit older now, so they're not too fussed about the presents. It's sort of like more 10 when they wake up. We've got teenagers, so you wait. If you've got teenagers, you understand. If you don't, you've got something to look forward to. They're great. It's fantastic. It's easy to complain, but they're fantastic kids. Both of my boys are lovely. So I'd normally wake up. All the vegetables would be peeled the night before, generally with a few beers. Stove would go on. Barbecue would go on. I normally get a great big lump of pork because crackling is good. So it'd be like a leg of pork on a barbecue, generally on a Weber rotisserie, because it's really easy. You want to make life as easy as possible when you're cooking food at Christmas time. Why make life difficult? Rotisserie go in. That sort of kick off about 10. The bird go in probably about the same time, by about probably 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, Christmas dinner will be done. So that'd be roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts, done the way I mentioned earlier, cabbage, just because my nan used to make it. What the hell? I'll tell you my nan's secret recipe for her Christmas. This is a very old recipe. There's a place in Datchet where my nan grew up. Her mum used to work in a great big country house, so this is like old English noble recipe, if you like. So basically, you got your boiled cabbage, cut it up so it's all finely sliced. Boil the cabbage for about 20 minutes, just so it's nearly done. Take out the cabbage, put it in a pan with a load of salt, butter, black pepper. Cook it down again, so it's sort of like, I wouldn't say, I don't know. So you'd have the water on the cabbage, and that makes a thing called an emulsion. So that way, you're covering the cabbage with this emulsion, which is butter, salt, and pepper. And then you serve it on a plate, and it's really, really nice. It's a really delicious, easy thing to make, and it's perfect. Goes perfectly well with whatever meat you're going to have on Christmas Day. It sounds a little bit underwhelming, but trust me, it's really good. So if you're listening, give it a go and tell me what you think. Sorry, Charlie, I was just going through my average Christmas cook on a Christmas Day. So it's generally goose with pork. Yeah. I might get beef this year. The meat would go on a rotisserie. The goose would go on in the oven. You know, I wouldn't really try and barbecue a goose because I think it would probably burst into flames. If I'm totally honest, there's so much fat in it. I don't think it would cook that great. Or it might do, but I suppose I've cooked a duck on a barbecue. A goose wouldn't be that much different. My rotisserie cooked a duck and it was nice, but there's so much fat in a goose.
Well, I'll tell you. But I'll tell you, like I've had goose before because I thought like, all right, traditional goose. I'll make it, and I made a goose, and not it was bony. There wasn't a lot of meat, and it was pretty fatty.
Yeah, it's pretty fatty. You got to render it all out. And you're right, there isn't a lot of meat on a goose, but the meat that is there is pretty tasty, in my opinion.
No, there wasn't. It was good. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'll be doing a goose anytime. You know, I was thinking I was going to be, Scrooge in the Christmas Story.
Yeah,
and throwing a couple of halfpennies out to the little kid in the street. But that didn't work out so well.
That's why I always cook a second meat if I'm doing goose, because you're right, there's not a lot of meat on a goose, so you need something like a pork or a beef joint just to bolster it out, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like definitely try out a goose. Like if anyone wants to try a goose, and I also recommend a couple of other things you can try out, or like
Oh, Charlie. Oh no. Oh no, the internet's killed him again. He'll be back in a sec. So he was just coming up with some killer recipes there. So I think I'll tell you what I am fascinated about. If you're in the chat, tell me what I've seen spiral hams come up a few times. They're pre-cooked, but I'm not sure what they are. Oh. Hello? Back in the room? Yeah.
I don't know what it is about StreamYard. It seems to have problems with me.
I'm thinking about changing up StreamYard, to be honest. I've seen another program that looks pretty good for a little bit less money, and you get a little bit more for it. So I might have to have a word with Matt and see if we can change things up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyhow, I was saying rabbit and duck are really good for Christmas. So you do yourself a duck with some plum sauce, or honey glazed duck. Fantastic.
I must admit, if I was
They're
getting
hard to
glazed
find
duck,
around
I'd
here.
use
Your local supermarket does not carry duck, or rabbit for that matter.
Rabbit is a little bit more hard to come by. I'm pretty sure you could probably get it from local butchers, but I've never asked for it. But definitely not. It's definitely not a supermarket item. But duck is, yeah, you get duck pretty much in every supermarket wherever you go, all the time, all year round over here. It's sort of like I wouldn't say a staple, but yeah, it's pretty popular.
Yeah. I'm with you, Judge Webb. Rabbit stew with homemade biscuits. Good eats. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Okay, I've not tried rabbit. I'd love to try it. My miss, Deb would never eat a rabbit. Never ever eat a rabbit. I'd have to sneak it in. What is it?
It's got like it's a very delicate sweet to it. But it's fantastically good. And once again, like, you won't get a whole ton of meat off it either, but it's fantastic.
There we go.
That's right. Tim Steinhardt said, yeah, lamb. Lamb is actually like slightly bigger around Christmas here too. Slightly.
Is it really? So, but it's steamed though.
You'll find
steamed for Christmas.
A rack of lamb and that sort of thing.
I've never seen steamed lamb.
Steam's unusual. Yeah, I don't know. Like, normally I'll do just like a rack of lambs, like standard. Same way I'll do like a rib roast or something like that. I mean, lamb, I like lamb, mustard, rosemary, thyme, oregano. So like that on the outside, garlic, and on the outside as a crust, and then cook them up that way.
Lamb is a very diverse meat, in my opinion. You know, you can take it down the Mediterranean route, or then you've got your classic sort of more Northern European way of cooking it. So you can roast it, or like rub a bit of salt, rosemary, garlic, etc. Do you know, that sort of thing? Yeah. It's pretty good. Or you can Asian flavors it well. Lamb takes Asian flavors really good.
Yeah, true.
It's a good meat. So salted and dried for 5 to 6 weeks. Since Tim, if you want to come on and tell us all about it, please do. I'll put the link in. I'm really interested to find out. So jump on and let us know.
It's interesting. That sounds more like a. I mean, like that process to me sounds like kind of a salted cod.
Yeah, it's a curing,
which is
like
fairly typical in a lot of places.
Well, yeah, no.
I've not heard it done with lamb before. Sounds interesting. Or meats and all, you know.
Saying that, I've just brought myself my first. I got a pastrami sort of kit, so I'm going to be messing around with that. Not that it's lamb, but I'm pretty sure you could do it with anything. It's just the stuff in it. You can cure anything with anything, I suppose. Not chemicals, but whatever they are.
Curious question. Do you know, like, who sells out of chicken for Christmas in Japan every single year?
I do, because one of my friends was working over there. KFC rocks at Christmas. It's a thing over there.
There you go.
He come over. He come over and he told me. I was like, "What?"
It's like, yeah, it's a thing. Deal. They'll order ahead, and absolutely sell out of KFC. On Christmas.
They said they have.
And I think the same thing is happening in China now as well.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I thought he was winding me up when he told me. I was like, what? So obviously Googled it, and it's like, wow.
Not a true story.
Yeah, they have all the little boxes, all the little they really go to town on it over there, don't they? I suppose it must be a hangover from the Second World War or something, where everyone was just Japan was heavily populated with US, and until they pulled out and left the culture from the USA in Japan, and that must, I'm guessing that's how it must have worked out.
Like, I am a fan clue. Right, to be honest with you, I am the fans clue, but it's like huge there, and I think it's getting bigger in China and Korea. So I have no idea. KFC seems to work out well. But if you watch the Squid Games, and if you watch a lot of Korean movies and shows, they do end up going down a lot of time for fried chicken.
Well, he doesn't love fried chicken, you know what I mean? It's a good thing in some ways. It's
nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I do like a bit of fried chicken. It's good. In fact, I wouldn't mind getting me one of them.
Right, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting me one for the garden. You know, like you get the big ones, but I don't know how well that stand up to the weather out here. Be good for the summer. I suppose I have to pack it away. So Google Pin. I'm not sure on the pronunciation on that, so I apologize in advance. Pinacot from the old days of having to preserve them.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I apologize for the pronunciation, but I'll have a look at that. I like preserving meats. It's good. Like bacon and fish. It's nice. But yeah, if you want to come on, Tim, and tell us all about it.
And then another thing is like tamales are a big Mexican tradition around the holidays as well. So a lot of times they'll do tamales. Trying to think worldwide. There are different traditions around the world as far as Christmas and Thanksgiving is basically U.S. Canada as far as I know.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware that Canada done it until you told me earlier. So that's new for me.
I think they do October, early October 12th or something like that. I'm not sure if it's tied down to a date or if it's the same as us, or it's tied down to a day, not a date.
So what is there a particular reason it's just tied down to a day, or is it just? I suppose it just works out the last Thursday in every month.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think it's tied down to a day because then you get the weekend off. Versus if tied down to a date, then you'd have to be like a hey thing, Thanksgiving is on a Monday. That sucks.
Yeah,
that means I have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Versus you get you got Thursday and Friday off as well as Saturday and Sunday. Or a Wednesday. It's Thanksgiving Eve. I gotta shop and stuff and do all that stuff tomorrow, and then you end up cooking and you're exhausted no end, and then you're like,
I never want to eat.
I get back to work on Thursday, and man, this is terrible. Yeah, that'd be my guess, because it is a big eating holiday. I mean, who cares when Groundhog's Day happens? You're not eating on Groundhog's Day. July 4th is July 4th. Can have next day off or whatever else. July 4th was a good one this year. So I need to take a week off to recover.
Excuse me. So, sort of Christmas and very, very sort of similar. Dutchie's just chimed in with homemade biscuits. We call them scones. So I think they're similar. I don't know what the differences are, but
they're much different. They are much different.
I don't know. I've never eaten them.
Scones are like hard little. Scones are just hard little rocks that you get, right? I mean, they're alrightish, but they're pretty dry. They're not like you get a biscuit. It's nice and flaky. So you get like that whole flake inside of there, and then you bite through. Delicious. Scones are good. Don't get me wrong, but you would not want like a rock in rock and gravy.
Have you ever had a dumpling? Do you know what a dumpling is? I always feel, to me, a biscuit is probably on par with a dumpling. What we call it in the UK. You cook that in a liquid. You'd put that in a stew, but it's a really nice. You make it with suet and flour.
Yeah, I mean, I've had chicken and dumplings, and I've made that before. And then I've had Chinese dumplings, which are entirely different. It's basically like a, some sort of stuffed whatever. Dutch will be surprised. Biscuits and gravy. He should definitely make it. It is fantastic. It's hard to believe that somebody has not had biscuits and gravy before.
There you go. Judge Weber said yes. Basically, a biscuit is cooked in a liquid or soup or stew. So
yeah, dumpling is
That's how I've always imagined a biscuit. Because
it's not a biscuit per se. Because a biscuit, you could in theory stuff a biscuit, but dumpling to me, well, that's not true. You got two ways to go about dumplings. You can either do a dumpling with no filling, but then you also have dumplings with filling. So you've got your you've got your Chinese dumplings, and you've got your what else you got? Some.
Hey, Uncle Steve.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, mate?
We are chatting about Thanksgiving, and we haven't barely touched on Christmas as far as the differences between. They don't have Thanksgiving in the UK, obviously.
Well, I find it.
Nor do they have July 4th, strangely enough, because it should be we gave those people separation, and now they will take advantage of it. So it's a freedom day for all the Australian immigrants and pilgrims and heathens and everything else that came out away from.
The Aussies stuck with us. They knew they liked the Queen.
Yeah, Uncle Steve, talk to us about what spices shall one use?
Oh yeah.
Jump on in. So spices you use around Thanksgiving and Christmas are generally you'll use rosemary a lot. Use nutmeg for various things. Cloves, coriander, parsley. Rosemary is a big one for rosemary potatoes or rosemary lamb and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we use rosemary on lamb a lot, but yeah, potatoes as well.
Yeah, true. Trying to think, mace, I think, is one thing that actually comes up around this holiday for pumpkin pie.
Mace is a very Christmassy flavor. Actually, it's often overlooked, and it's good. It's tasty as well.
It's an interesting one, but it only comes up at a certain time of the year. Trying to think what else. There are some unusual spices that show up. And everyone's thyme was a good one. People start cooking with spices a lot more. I mean, I use all that stuff for the most part throughout the year. Cinnamon is a big one. Then you got like that pumpkin pie sort of spice thing with like mace, cinnamon.
I think as a general rule of thumb, what they say is if it's a soft herb, it's like a summer. You cook with it in summer. Yeah, but if it's a tougher herb, like for instance your rosemary, your thyme, they're quite woody. Yeah, so you can preserve them easier. So you can use them through the colder seasons, which is I think why they're more of a traditional sort of like winter use, because you can store them easier. Basically, they're not going to rot. They're not going to, because there's not as much water in them, so they hold the flavor better. And you generally grind them up and use them. You wouldn't, like, if you think I don't know, basil or watercress, that's sort of like a big peppery sort of hit of flavor. That again, that's more of a summery sort of thing. You don't see that in the winter. So as a general rule of thumb, what I would say is you see more of the woody herbs used in the winter because you can just preserve them easier. They keep better, basically, is why they're Christmas flavors, because no one had anything else to use. Like nutmeg, it's a nut. You grind it off, you get the flavor.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. I mean, it's the same. Like, I love like thinking about like the history of food and why things happen. You want to hear a theory? I may have said it before.
Yeah.
But the theory about why certain people and certain religions and everything else don't eat pork.
Okay.
Is because back in the day, pork used to have trichinosis, which would actually cause somebody to have mental issues, because trichinosis actually attacks the brain, and so they realized early on that people were having problems eating pork, and then that became instead of saying like, hey, here's the problem, because they didn't have the means to identify the problem. They said, well, nobody's eating pork anymore, so this is part of our religion, and so we're taking it on. That's my theory.
Yeah, it kind of makes
now
sense.
Is dead, but the religion's carried on and still have that rule inside the religion, and ended up turning into like, pork is dirty and this, that, and the next thing. But it wasn't pork is dirty. Pork caused Joe and Carl to whatever have mental issues and brain rot.
Well, it's probably smart thinking early on, from what you say. They identify the problem, stopped it at the source, and move forward.
Yeah,
I think I love that. Not a bad idea.
I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, or if that's a fact. But I love the history of food and how, like, a good point. Like, people, and then I can't remember who was talking about it, but the Norwegian way of doing things is like basically salt everything, because and then steam it, because that's what they had, and so you end up developing dishes that last for hundreds of years.
So it's a hard old winter.
Some may be good, some maybe not so good. Like lutefisk is apparently not so good.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But I'd try it just to see, but I don't know. That's the rotten one. Too, but I don't know.
Yeah. There's like surströmming and yeah, I've tried it, but well, I don't know. I mean, I like fermented foods and all that stuff, but I have a bad feeling. I'm not sure I'd be super keen on it.
It's another level of fermentation, though. You're not preserving it because lutefisk is one of the good ones.
There's one. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Ken says in the Old Testament, pork was declared unclean. It's the same thing in the Torah in nuts. There you're back. But the New Testament says everything. Yeah, hard to say. But I do think like food safety. So food safety made itself into the way of religion. For the good of people at that point, but I don't think it makes any sense anymore.
I think the food safety thing is probably a fair point. Whether it's linked to the religious ideas, I don't know. I'm not a big religion guy personally. I think there's right and wrong, and that's that. You know, there's no. So
I mean, I find it fascinating.
It's certainly a fascinating issue. I'm not sure if it's one I want to get into, but Ludafest, if that's one of the good ones, what are one of the bad ones then? So tell us about Ludafest. It's a cured. Is that the gone off shark thing?
Ludafest, I think, is it's like jellied, fermented. Yeah, maybe shark. I can't remember.
It might be whale, shark or whale. It's something.
Like it. No, it's definitely not whale. I'd try a whale. I've never had it before.
No, I'd try it as
I
well.
don't want to kill a whale because it's
made of cod. Okay. Come on, Tim, you got to come on and put us straight. Give us some. Give us some of your Nordic magic for Christmas. I'm sure you must have a ton of good recipes that are super interesting.
There is the shark one. I can't remember what that one's called.
I think is that from Greenland or Iceland or somewhere like
that?
No.
It's from. It might be from Finland.
They get it and bury it and then dig it up after a while, and it's like
something like that. Yeah, hard to say. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not Christmas food. You find your stocking full of fermented shark.
I'm not sure if you'd be on the naughty or list, to be honest.
I will tell you one of the worst gifts. I think we talked about this before. Was fruitcake. Because
how can that be bad?
People give away. Man, I do not like the idea of eating just mushy bread. So this does tie into the whole idea of Thanksgiving stuffing. But I do not like your idea of eating. It sounds like, I don't know, mushy bread and bread pudding, which sounds like disgusting. Like I've had it before.
So nice.
And I did not enjoy it. My mother is Scottish and
oh, you would have had the proper thing then.
All sorts of things. But no, I don't like that idea. And every year people get people give and get these stupid fruit cakes, and then it goes on to the next person the next year because nobody eats that dang thing. No, it's Iceland.
Sorry.
A strong spirit to wash it down. All right. Fermented rum shark.
I reckon you need a good old strong spirit to get to eating it. To be fair, have this. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it, Tim? Terrible. Have you ever eaten it? That'd be interesting.
Fermented rum shark. That sounds awful. Pigs are very versatile. I don't know. I find
a few times.
I find almost every animal to be pretty versatile to cook with. I mean, chicken and poultry has less flavor than pork and beef. So it fits into a whole bunch of different recipes and everything else. Yeah, hard to say.
I'm super intrigued then. So it seems to had that rotten shark thing a few times, and his mate's a chef from Iceland. So
I would not do that.
Oh man, no, that can that be good? Why would you eat it more than once if it smells and tastes like ammonia? Come on, man. Why would you?
the thing is about salt cod.
Yeah, well, I've had bacalao before from Portugal.
Salt cod is like they will cure it with lye. So one of the things you actually have to do is like soak it and rinse it quite a bit, because otherwise you will like end up either sick or like not super keen. I mean, I don't know.
I'd try anything once, but
I wouldn't. I don't care. What do I got to lose? Like I like all sorts of stuff. As long as things are cooked well, I like it. If they're not cooked well, I don't like it.
I'm pretty sure you could do interesting things with it, but I don't know. I don't know if I just. I don't know if I'd eat it straight from the hole, if that makes sense.
And I also have a problem with temperatures and stuff. Like I'm not eating cold pizza and cold pasta or anything else. And it's gonna be the right temperature for when I'm eating.
I'd have cold pizza in the morning. It takes the edge off the night before sometimes. You can't. It's one of the best hangover cures in the world. Cold pizza.
$9. Yeah, see, Dutchies are the same story regarding pork and religion. I don't know. I've never heard this story, but I think it's true. I mean, they just adopted the tenet saying like, all right, people are getting sick from this stuff, and it makes sense. Doesn't make sense these days since trichinosis started declining in the, I want to say it was like the 30s or 40s, like quite a long time ago in the U.S. as they started breeding leaner and leaner pigs.
I know they haven't sort of brought the temperatures in line with the whole reason the cooking temperature, it's that temperature to kill that, isn't it, specifically?
Yeah.
They haven't dropped it down, even though it's not a thing anymore.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's 100% right. Yeah, I mean, you cook
like you can eat pork blushing, you
can actually so if you get the right pork, so that like it's a weird thing. If you get the right pork, you can actually eat it raw. And there was I can't remember his name. He was on Master Chef or something like that, but he had dishes where he served raw pork. So you can actually successfully eat raw pork without getting sick at all. And there's a specific breed of chicken. I think it's like it's a black-footed chicken.
Is it the Wagyu one?
Black skin. Yeah, I think it's got to be Wagyu at that point, where you can actually eat that raw as well. And that was also in I think it was on I saw it on Iron Chef. I was like, ooh, fascinating.
That's a jump, isn't it? I don't know if I'd be quite ready for raw chicken. I suppose you have raw.
I have no idea. I don't know where why
pork.
Why is it bad for you? And I ate raw eggs occasionally, and it's not apparently your chances of getting salmonella or whatever else are 1 in 10,000 or more than that.
Well, a lot of it is to do with where the cut of the meat is taken from, isn't it? For instance, you have a beef tartare. The beef is taken from a fillet, which is taken from the center of the animal. Yeah. So therefore, it's a case of it's not been in contact with anything that's nasty. It's cut out, cut up, and you eat it.
Yeah,
so you could apply the same. I suppose there's no reason why you couldn't apply the same theory to any cut of meat.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as it's fresh or
exactly.
suitably handled.
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, once again, back to my mom's counter, staring and watching her cook and stuff. Anytime she'd be cooking with ground beef, straight from the store, she'd take a little pinch of ground beef, throw in some onion and salt and pepper, and just hand it to me, and I'd eat it. Never got sick at all. So,
Yeah. Me and my brother used to eat raw sausages, and I don't mean that they weren't expensive sausages. They were nasty, cheap sausages, and we're still here. So why on earth we used to eat them like that, I don't know, but we did. It was all right.
Dutchie's going to make a bread and butter pudding.
That's nice. You'd probably quite like that.
Just a showing. Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, I'll tell you what a bread and butter pudding is, right? So you get chefs have jazzed it up a bit. You can do it with brioche. So the idea is you butter the bread, right? You get your fruit. So generally it's sultanas and raisins. You put nutmeg in with it and cream. So you're soaking the bread and butter in the cream with the nutmeg and the raisins, and then you cook it in the oven with some people put brown sugar on the top and then a little dust in nutmeg, and it's really good. It's quite a tasty pudding. It's a pretty basic pudding, but chef it up, you know what I mean? But basically it's a port. If you didn't have a lot of money when you were growing up in England, you'd have bread and butter pudding because it was like a staple, easy, cheap thing to make.
Sounds alright. I'm not a generous fan of raisins. Or soggy bread. So I will tell you, like stuffing or dressing is one of the big things around Thanksgiving. I've had plenty of soggy bread stuffing, and some of those I didn't mind growing up. I had stovetop stuffing and all that junk. But man, I don't know. Like for my own stuffing, I actually toast off I'll get baguettes, cut them up, and ciabatta and everything else. Throw them in a pan, cut them up, toast them off, and then throw in all my ingredients, and then toast it off after that. So I want my stuffing to have like a little bit of salt, and so I can mix it in with like the more crunchy bits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. That would be decent, to be fair. It sounds
otherwise nice. I've had like cornbread, stuffing or dressing, whatever you want to call it. Which is mush. It just stirs the mush. I don't care for it. Cornbread does not hold up the texture, which is why I'm not a generous fan of cornbread stuff.
I must admit, a friend of mine gave me a recipe, which is a Greek recipe for stuffing. And that was, I can't remember the exact recipe, but basically it was pork meat, ground pork or pork meat or sausage meat. You mix it up with some onion. You cut a finely diced an onion, finely diced a garlic, a bulb of garlic. There's a little garlic in it. Lemon zest and olive oil. Mix it all up. That's weird.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, me. So
you're still there on my screen.
On this other show once upon a time. So weird. I do not understand what's happening. It does not make any sense to me. I have not done one of my epic lives for a while, but I have not had so many problems with StreamYard whatsoever. But every time, issues with StreamYard.
It seems to be this a certain time as well, isn't it? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Yes, got me. Did you want to talk about like barbecue gifts at this point? I think we're late in the show, but like a top 10 gift list, or should we save that for another show?
Oh yeah, I think we keep our powder dry and we'll use that for another show. I think. because we've been going nearly 2 hours now. So I reckon what we should do is wrap the podcast up because we've had a lot of foodie chat, and then run the pub club, have a couple of beers, talk a few little bit more rubbish, and then boom, keep that back and research properly some Christmas gifts and shenanigans. I wouldn't. What your why we're on it? I think we should do like a Christmas party.
Works for me.
I've never really seen anyone do anything like that. So I think we should just fill up. If StreamYard behave, just get a load of people in, and just have a bit of a time of it on the podcast and send it out and see what happens.
I'm 100% down with that. Works for me, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be good fun. I'm just trying to come up with different ideas, you know.
We can have eggnog, which is also a big thing around the holidays, which is either you love it or you hate it.
I like it, but I got bad memories of eggnog. Have you ever been sick on eggnog?
No, I can't even imagine. Eggnog is one of those things. Yeah,
it's
not
like
good.
It's like The Exorcist. That's it. That's all I was thinking.
Not good at all. When I was a kid, my friend's mom made us all wassail bowl punch. You ever had that?
No, never heard of it.
What? I thought it was from UK or something.
What was it?
Wassail bowl punch. You know, wassail?
No.
Spell wassail for me.
Wassail. So WASELE or something along them. What is it? Warsaw? Is it is it Warsaw as in Birmingham? Warsaw punch.
Maybe. How do you spell it?
I'm not sure. I'm dyslexic. I could tell you 10 things and spell them 10 times different.
WASSAIL.
Yeah, it might be right. I don't know. I can't tell you.
I thought it was like, I don't know. I mean, I was like 16 at the time. That was like I don't know where she got that whole thing from, but it's like a wassail bowl punch. But it was just rum and I don't know, a bunch of other crap. And apples floating around in it, and then oranges floating around in it, all spiked with cloves and some other alcohol and whatever else. We got quite drunk off that as a underage 16-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, Steve's just coming. He said he done the same.
And it was very holiday-y.
Holiday-y.
Yeah.
It's got to be done. It's almost a matter of passage, isn't it? If you're not getting drunk on some dodgy punch at some point in your life, you're done. Yeah,
I know, and that sent me the road to like from there. It was straight the road to decline. I'm like, all right, this is really good, and then from there on, just gone.
Embrace it. That's all you can do. Yeah, that's for sure. So, I think what we're going to do now is perhaps run the pub club, put a link in. If anyone wants to jump in, that'd be fantastic. Continue this, and have a bit of a chat and a catch up. You up for that, dude?
I'll stick around for a bit.
All right, cool. Yeah.
That's what you're doing. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Stick around for a bit.
Okie dokie. So, thanks everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Our little take on UK Thanksgiving, Christmas, exploring different bits and bobs. I'm sure we're going to be back on a Christmas theme very soon. Maybe with a more international slant. Actually, could be quite a cool thing.
We could do a part 2 with your favorite holiday movies. There's plenty going on. Your favorite holiday cooks and how to cook them.
What did I see the other day? Have you seen nothing to? Have you seen the remake to the National Lampoon's Vacation?
Years ago, unless there's something new.
It's just called Vacation. It's like National Lampoon's, but it's like an updated version. So funny. Like, I've never seen it before. Like, I've obviously seen the National Lampoon's version, but this was like, it was just on Netflix. I thought, oh yeah, that looks a bit familiar, and it's pretty much a carbon copy. And then it's got like, obviously, it's got the cameos in from the people that before. It's a good film actually. I really enjoyed it. Really good. Anyway, we digress. So what we're going to do, run the pub club, go and answer the door. Thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate your support. Sorry for being away so long. We'll be back next week with some kind of stuff that I'm going to try and be top line, 100% quality. That's what you're going to hear, because we are, and we believe in ourselves. So I hope you do too. Come back, join us. Going to run the pub club. See you all soon. Charlie, thank you. Much appreciated, dude.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Can't celebrate.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all, and enjoy your holidays. And we'll be back same time next time. See you soon, dudes. Bye bye. Boom.